Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, so Jake Paul wins a decision over Anderson Silva. He won via unanimous decision because in the 8th and final round, he dropped Anderson Silva. But throughout the fight, he struggled against Anderson Silva. And I'm going to be honest with you. Had Anderson Silva took this fight maybe even 3 years ago, he probably would have beat the hell out of Jake Paul. But I think I've seen enough of this, and I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'm not covering any Jake Paul fights. I'm not going to talk about Jake Paul. I'm not giving this dude any more publicity until he actually fights a real fighter. I've seen this long enough. This dude sits up here and pops off at the mouth and say, oh, I would have fight Canelo and guys like that. So you think you just supposed to jump the line and get a fight with Canelo? So you supposed to get a fight with Canelo over everybody else. Now, before somebody comes in here and say, well, what about Floyd fighting Conor McGregor? Well, Floyd had retired, and then he fought Conor McGregor. So Floyd technically was a retired fighter. Didn't have any belts. So he was a retired fighter. So I just wanted to slam the door on that. Canelo isn't a retired fighter. Canelo still has belts. And he has belts that he has to defend. So it's a big difference. See, Jake Paul, what he wants to do is keep fighting these kind of dudes, and he thinks that's gonna elevate him to a showdown with Canelo. And based off his performance, nobody really believes Jake Paul can beat Canelo Alvarez. After what I saw, Canelo would destroy Jake Paul. He would beat the hell out of Jake Paul, and it would come across as just a money grab for Canelo. I wouldn't even entertain the thought of fighting Jake Paul if I was Canelo. This is a dude that struggled against a 47-year-old ex-MMA fighter who only had one professional fight in as a boxer. I mean, the proof is in the pudding about Jake Paul. And don't come on here talking about we hating. Don't come on here talking about this because he's white or none of that stuff. Nobody ain't even trying to hear that, because I know eventually some clown gonna come across this video and try to play that role. Jake Paul shouldn't get any credit. He keeps saying he takes this boxing seriously, but then he won't fight a serious boxer. Okay? You can call out Canelo all you want, but at the end of the day, we know you ain't really trying to fight Canelo unless it's like you said, 2 years from now or after Canelo retires, because basically you trying to leapfrog to a big payday. And I wonder, what are the pay-per-view numbers for this fight? Because I don't think nobody was checking for this fight. I don't even think this fight did 75,000 pay-per-views. And I'm just keeping it a buck. I don't even think it did 50. But yeah, I've seen enough of this. People can talk a good game and try to make it look like they serious about this, but if Jake Paul is really serious about this, okay, dude, you like 6 or 7 fights in, you got to start fighting real fighters, dude. You got to start fighting real fighters, and I mean like actual cruiserweights, actual light heavyweights, depending on where you go campaign at. Seen enough of this. This is looking more and more like a charade every day. Okay, yeah, you got power. That's cool. But we want to see this power against like fighters with real boxing pedigree. Not against guys like Anderson Silva, who's pushing 50. Just keep it in a buck, man. Just keep it in a buck. We've seen enough of this. I don't want to see this anymore. So from this day forward, Jake Paul ain't getting no more publicity from me. I'm not talking about none of his fights. I'm not covering none of his fights. I don't want to go see his fights until he fight a actual fighter. It's your boy Tail Biz. I'm out.